Okay, so there are 800 images and there are 200 statements to every single session. There's hundreds of sessions. So the statements are the wisdom, the guidance, the suggestions, the mantras, the affirmations, the incantations of an extraordinary number of really world-class coaches. You can imagine they're sitting here on your shoulder and they're actually literally sharing or infusing you with that incredible energy, right? Now, there are certain types of photographs and there is a certain number of those types of photographs. I'll give you an example of just one. In it, there's actually a formula that has 17 aspects in it. One of them is that there are smiles. There's actually a scientific classification. It's called a Duchenne smile. We have a certain number of Duchenne smiles that are presented to you. You view these, and interestingly enough, the retina in your eyes processes that photograph at lightning fast speed, milliseconds in pre-conscious processing. And the retina in your eyes sends messages to your mirror neurons, and your mirror neurons actually, they process this message that says, oh, I think him smiling. Your brain actually literally thinks that you're smiling and all you're doing is looking at a photograph of a Duchenne smile. Right? Now, because your brain thinks that you're smiling, it sends messages to your endocrine system, and hormonally you start to produce more serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, other neurotransmitters and endorphins. It raises your energy levels, and vibrationally you tap into this state. It's called the positively primed state. Other people call it something similar. Sean Akel, one of my colleagues, you can go and Google him, Sean, S-H-A-W-N, Akel. In fact, I'll put a link into the chat for you. Very famous TED talk. He calls it the happiness advantage. What actually we know is that your brain functions in a completely different way. So your mind works differently. You actually have access. There's areas in your brain that it's almost like a theatrical thunderstorm, tropical thunderstorm. These particular areas in your brain that are responsible for precise decision-making or creativity or resourcefulness, they actually literally have a lot more activity and they come alive. And so you're actually in a state when you're seeing your personal photos flash past you, you're manifesting in the gap. And there's one other aspect that I'm going to tell you is super, 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 super interesting. You might already know this. Considering you're at this particular level, we don't act out of congruence with our identity. Who knows that? We do not act out of congruence with our identity. We never do. And if we stray for a millisecond, we actually bring ourselves back into place. It's the truth, right? What do I mean by that? Let's just say in my identity, I think that I'm kind. When I do something that's unkind, whether that's provoked or whether, you know, there's a reason that's valid in my logical mind, I then overcompensate and do more kind things as a result. Do you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying there are self-fulfilling prophecies that are about our identity? So what I can share with you is if you upload photographs of yourself into positive prime sessions that are on subjects or topics of how you want to be, but you're not there yet, your brain will actually kind of bring into place so that there is congruence. There's actually the opposite of what we call cognitive dissonance. Most people, they want to be a millionaire, or maybe even better than that, they want to be someone like me who is actually creating $1 billion idea, which is not something I say lightly. And I don't say it to impress you, but to impress upon you. You can't possibly be the kind of person who has $1 billion idea, $1 billion idea that it's actually will probably impact 1 billion people too. But anyway, you can't possibly be that kind of person and have that kind of influence and be humble enough and execute with excellence with a team of people unless your identity is I'm a billionaire. Because you will not behave in ways consistently and persistently enough in order to bring that about, because it's not part of your identity. And so the real magic of Positive Prime is the way that we have people upload, we suggest, and I'm suggesting to all of you, upload photographs of anything that attaches your identity to the subjects. Now that is And I'll give you some examples. Photographs of your dogs, photographs of your siblings, photographs of your children, photographs of your colleagues, photographs of you, right? Some people don't like looking at photographs of themselves because they don't think that they're photogenic enough. When you see a photograph of yourself, see the essence of you that is this beautiful child of God, right? Try not to see the physical you, see the potential in you, see the possibilities for you when you see yourself. And what I can assure you of is that unless you view positive prime sessions and this particular part of the functionality, you can't wrap your identity around enough of the content to create enough of the transformation. I'll break this down for you. So the player that you're viewing a positive prime session is not a video. It's not an MP4 file. It's not a video. It's actually inside a proprietary player, and it's a series of images that are each and every single one of them are designed to do something very specific, like the Duchenne smiles, including all the pictures of the green tree canopy and the pictures of, different kinds of physical movements, pictures of pro-social behavior, pictures of connection. I could go on and on and on. Every single time you press play, the entire group reshuffles, and it's in a different order the next time you watch it. And so let's just say you're attaching your identity. So you see photographs that relate to you and your life that are meaningful and significant to you. You've actually brought to life a gratitude journal, because a lot of the photographs are of what you're grateful for. So you've actually got that real, it's almost like the boosting power. But every single time you watch, you see different associations. It's called associative conditioning, different associations to different images before and after each one of your goal statements or your goals, as pictorial illustrations representing what it is that you want to achieve. And you create so many new and different neural connections and neural pathways. You literally have the breakthroughs. It's, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about getting over yourself. This is how you get over yourself. But unless you have your identity integrated into the experience, it can't happen. It doesn't happen. And so I see a lot of amazing coaches and best-selling authors. They talk about the principles, but they have no way to make it happen for others. And that's what Positive Prime is. And so I must admit, I'm incredibly grateful that I was chosen to receive all of the downloads so that I could work with a team of people for long enough to actually create this platform that's available 24/7 the world over with hundreds of pieces of content. I could have just created Positive Prime sessions and kept them just for my own clients, because I, as part of that journey I'm telling you about, I actually lived in Bali and I ran health retreats in Bali, and people used to come and pay an exquisite amount of money to spend a very precious amount of time with me, and I would put them through an extraordinary transformation program with a whole heap of my friends who are specialists